Hi, this is Peter Sage, the creator of the Millionaire Business School and Amazon #1 best-selling author. And on this video, I want to address an issue that is emailed to me over and over again, which is how do you free yourself from negative thoughts? Well, yeah, that's an interesting question. The first thing I want to do is just address the nature of the question itself, because the presupposition is that we're trapped by negative thoughts, and just that language pattern can make people think that they're in a prison of negativity that it's hard to escape from. And the first key to freeing yourself from negative thoughts is to understand what's really going on. You see, all thoughts are habitual. When I say all, we're talking 95%. Now, how do I know that? It's because between the 60 to 100,000 different thoughts that psychologists tell us that we think every day, over 90 to 95% of those are the same every day. And that isn't because we try to think of new things to think about, it's because they are automatically conditioned. So it would make sense if that conditioning is predominantly negative, then we are going to feel trapped by the patterns of negative thinking that we are engaging in. But to think that these thoughts are being done to us will put you in a victim mentality rather than empower you to understand that it's simply a matter of habit. If you take the mind, for example, that the mind is very much like a compass needle in a sense that it can only point in one direction at a time. You can only think of one thought at a time. Now that is an outstanding advantage when it comes to trying to shift the balance from negative thoughts, because you cannot think of a negative and positive thought simultaneously. Even those amazing creatures called women who have the ability to multitask with this biological diffuse level of awareness, even what's really going on there is that their compass needle is moving in different directions very quickly. But it's not moving in 3 different directions at once. Not even women can do that. So if you understand that the compass needle of our mind has its own magnetic north, and that will default to pointing in that direction whenever we are engaged out of habit, whenever we're thinking any one of those 95% of the thoughts that we think through being what I call sleeping awake. It's kind of when you turn up to work on your day off because you weren't thinking while you were driving and you still managed to navigate traffic on a busy road and stop when you needed to because your mind was somewhere else. It's habitual thinking, and that's brilliant because it saves us being on task 24/7. But if we predominantly have a history of negative thinking, or something we perceive happens to us in the outer world that we don't like, and we go down a negative thought track, that starts new patterns and new sort of gravitates or magnetizes that compass needle into a predominantly negative direction. Now, how do you change that? Well, let me draw a parallel for you. The metaphysical world, which exists inside of our head under the domain of thoughts and lots of other things that we can discuss, but probably not on this video, has a parallel to the physical world. Now, the physical world, everybody understands. We understand the rules and the laws of the physical world under something called Newtonian physics or classical physics, as well, and to the point where we can put a satellite in orbit with precision. Those rules are very well understood. Now, if you take the body, the physical body, that operates under exactly the same way. It has a default mode that it is conditioned to through habit, because the body and the mind are both programmed to adapt to their environment. If you take your body and you say, I have this big overweight body that's sluggish, and how do I free myself from that? Well, we all know what the answer is. Find a diet and an exercise program that's right for you, and start getting your hormones balanced, and start stop putting the wrong things in, start putting the right things in, and get the stuff that shouldn't be in there out. I mean, that's health in 3 easy steps. So if you put your body in the gym, or if you put your body in McDonald's, it doesn't mind. It's going to do what it's meant to do, and it will adapt. That's its job. Your mind is exactly the same. If you put your mind into an environment where you're constantly thinking negative thoughts because it's your default pattern, then that's what it's going to respond to. You start building the negative muscles, and they'll get stronger over time, and you'll be able to lift more heavier negative things with those muscles. But it also works if you put it in the positive gym. And that's what most people, all you need to do to free yourself from negative thoughts is to get in a better environment. Get your ass in the positive gym. How do you do that? Well, in today's world, it's easier and you don't even need to pay a fitness membership to be able to do it. So expose yourself consistently. Get that compass needle and remagnetize it in a different direction. You do it over time. You don't walk into a gym with an overweight body and you walk out fit. No, you walk out sore and it's uncomfortable. But over time, that's what happens. If you want to stay with an overweight body, that's your deal. And I'm here to tell you, if you don't make time for health, you will have to make time for illness. That's not a rule I made up, that's just the way it is. If you don't make time for positivity in your life, your default magnetic north is going to swing over to the negative. Yeah, I didn't make that up, that's just the way it is. And unfortunately, most people's default north points negative, so your environment, your peer group, the media, all of the things that most people are associated to are constantly programming them into a negative direction, so that when they're sleeping awake and doing things out of habit, that's the gravitational way. And then guess what? We feel trapped by negative thinking. So how do you free yourself? Make a conscious decision. Yeah, the will is what drives the thoughts. So make a decision, a firm, resolute decision that I'm going to get my mental ass in the positive gym. Very easy to do. Surround yourself with positive people. If you can't do that, read positive books. Yeah, watch positive films that lift you up, that come from a place of possibility, yeah, that support how we can, not why I can't. Yeah, if people are in your environment that are negative, start tuning them out. That's not to say that you're better or worse, it's just to say that you want a different environment. So if you have a situation where you want to take charge of the environment that you're in, you can do that. Nobody has the right to tell you what you should or shouldn't think, as much as that's been conditioned through a traditional educational model, right? It just isn't true. So, yeah, I'm here to tell you, I don't even know you and I know you're good enough. I don't even know you and I know you have more potential than you put forward. And the only reason for most people that's not being realized is not because you don't have the skill, the talent, the inspiration, the vision, the wisdom. Yeah, none of that. It's because our compass needle has simply been gravitated towards a default negative state rather than one that's open to possibility. How do you do it? Simple. Yeah, change the gym you train in. Yeah, if you want to eat McDonald's or junk food level thoughts, don't be surprised if you're going to be obese in the negative department. You get in and start watching inspirational podcasts, listening to inspirational books or on Audible or read if you're a visual person. Yeah, and really just upgrade your environment here through what you're putting in. I guarantee you, it may seem a little uncomfortable at first, just like training muscles that haven't been trained for a while. But if you stick with it, your mind and your body are 24/7 adaptation machines to their environment. And very soon, you don't have to try and wrestle and get away from negative thoughts, which is doing nothing more than gravitating you back to fighting negative with negative. You just overwhelm your inner world with more positive examples that are everywhere to be found, and the negative thoughts that you thought you were trapped by will disappear on their own. Now, this is a foundational aspect of success. It's a foundational aspect of life. Why? Because your outer world follows your inner world. If you come to the Millionaire Business School, we spend the entire first day working on psychology, on rebuilding you from the inside out. Why? Because you can learn all of the business strategies to go to become successful and all of the theory, all of the techniques, but it doesn't mean anything if it's laid over the top of unresolved self-issues because your compass needle is still pointing negative. Otherwise, what's the point? You're going to go and find ways that you can't, or just different ways to make the same amount of money because you weren't putting yourself in a better environment. So this is paramount. Before you run off and try to learn how to make money, before you run off and try to become better in relationships, learn how to take the negative default programming and turn it into a positive, and then everything from that point will shift and benefit. Relationships, health, ability to enjoy circumstances or your job, or having the courage to move forward onto a better path. And if you can do that, then life will magically unfold from a different place. William James, the father of modern psychology, said towards the end of his life when asked this question, what is the greatest discovery in his lifetime responded instantly without any hesitation. That a person can change the circumstances of their lives by changing the quality of their thoughts. Case closed. And that is what's available here. Go enjoy the gym. I'll see you on another video.